Hey everybody, it's Jeff with ID10T Garage, and we're back working on the 69 Mustang sports roof, and it is Tennessee and it is starting to get cold. It was 80 the other day and now it's like, 40. So fun times here in Nashville area. But anyways, in this week's episode we're going to focus on the back end of the car. Now that we've got everything welded together, we're going to go ahead and start getting everything pieced together, make sure it fits right again. So, after welding everything together, you want to go refit everything. That's basically the bottom line. So, I'm going to go ahead and get the trunk fitted, double check everything, try to get some gaps aligned, get some, screws everywhere to kind of have alignment jigs per se, and see where we sit. Probably work on the rear valence a little bit too. I need to, get some tweaking done there probably. We had it pretty snug when we, before we started welding, so should be good. Might work on some body work as well. I'm not quite sure, but we got to get to it, so let's do it.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change, play the game that we say.
Hey everybody, we're back out here. This is going to be episode 21 of the Mustang, so we're getting way up there. I've been working on this thing a lot this summer. Obviously winter is upon us, and next week is going to be in the 30s here. I can't believe it. It was 75 degrees yesterday. It's 70 something today, and next Monday it's like boo. But anyways, what I'm about to do is, after welding everything together, my trunk doesn't quite fit the way it seems. Like it's a little up in one spot. But I'm going to just kind of put it back together and tweak it. I didn't weld in this little panel right here. So this is the latch panel, and it's just screwed in right now. So I still need to weld it in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these screws out so it's movable. And I'm going to see, after I put the trunk lid back on, if it shifts either which way easier. So I'm wondering if maybe this is over a little bit too much on the top, and so it won't adjust quite the way I want to. So just going to try to check that out real quick, and we might put the valence back on and see how that's fitting. So that's what I'm about to do. Alright, so more aftermarket shenanigans, it appears. So I got things somewhat better. So I did have to adjust my my center marker a little bit, over about maybe 1/4 inch. And the gaps are okay. I still got some more adjustment, but they're pretty decent. What I did notice though, like you get down here and you're like, man, that's coming down a lot farther on that side than this side. And I was like, what is going on here? Well, these corners are bent in a little bit, but this side from here, from top to bottom, is about 5.5 inches. Well, on this side, it's about 5.25 inches. So that might be the curve. So I might need to check that out. But either way, that's why I'm a little off on either side, is because the distance from the top to the bottom is about 1/2 inch, or I'm sorry, 1/4 inch off from side to side. So I was like, man, what the hell's going on? Well, it appears It's just the panel and or the way it's bent out a little bit. So I'll have to do some work on that, see if I can get that fixed. Like I said, this corner is kind of bent into, so I'm wondering if maybe, you know, you can kind of see right here, if I get this bent out a little bit, maybe that'll give me that 1/2 inch. So we'll have to see. But I'm a little happier. I got the side to even. That curve up here, I don't understand. Everything fits nice on the edges, but that curve doesn't match up here either, which I think is a common problem with these as well. Actually, I think it was a problem with the even with the OEM. I'm assuming OEM piece that I had on there, and notice there's a little bunch of divots in this thing, which I've probably created myself. So, but at least we're looking better than we were. So, just to make sure I wasn't crazy, I measured again. I made a little template. I basically traced the outside edges of this corner over here and made a little template, and then matched up to the other side. And when I had this matched up to the other side, the cardboard hung out quite a bit further. So then I went and did a line from one side to the other to where it would be the 1/4 inch shorter on the passenger side. And if you look, it's pretty much real close to where it's matching up to the same angle on the taillight panel when you adjust it. So I need to probably cut off about that 1/4 inch on the edge, and that'll make that look a whole lot better. But now that I look at it, I can see my tape is also a little wavy. So either way, I probably need to do a better job. I need to measure it and then just run tape from one side to the other. So we'll see if we can fix that. That way I get a clean line and know where to go. But yep, aftermarket parts, guys. You never know what you're gonna get. Hey, we're back out here working on the trunk of this Mustang. As we saw yesterday, this one's a little bit short. So I started looking a little bit more into this, and we're a 1/4 inch shorter on this side, which is at 5 1/4 inches. So I've got the OEM possibly deck lid. This is the deck lid that was on the car when I got it. It's got some bends and dings and everything all over as well. So as you can really see, that really is bent down right there. But from side to side, it is 5 1/2 inches on both sides. So at least this one is straight and consistent. I've just got to, probably fix a lot of stuff with it. Which is why I originally got the aftermarket one. I don't know if this thing has rust in it or not. I know this wing sucks. I mean, it really doesn't suck, but whoever painted it wrong. It's got ripples and cracks because they didn't use flexible paint, and it's also just horribly painted, orange peel all over the place. So, and just looking at the deck lid itself, it's got a bend in it. It's not consistent. So I don't know how well it's going to fit, but if you look, it's pretty flat here and then curves pretty good there. So it's a little bit janky, but we're going to test fit it just to see how it fits. So I mean, even with this one, it's shorter on the one end, which maybe we can cut it short on both ends and it'll look good. I don't know, but you get that bow in the center one way or another. So it'll be interesting to see how this OEM-ish deck lid fits. This could be just an older aftermarket deck lid as well. I don't know. I need to look at it a little bit closer, see if it's got some part numbers on it. But that's what I'm about to do. About to get this aftermarket deck lid off and test fit the one that used to be on the car. So let's get to it. All right, so it's not perfect. The end caps don't exactly match up, but it's much, much better, and it's even side to side. So that's what you can kind of see looking at the tail panel. You're much more even across that top edge of that taillight panel because you got the right 5.5 inches on each side. Surprisingly, even with the way it looked like bowed and stuff, this fits a lot better. I'm not sure about, it's not perfectly aligned and everything, but I might need to figure out a way to pull this out further. This side comes out pretty good. You see got a real tight gap. I actually can't pull this corner down anymore, so I might need to make some adjustments there. Drill out where the screws hold this in on the bracket, which is actually screwed out pretty well on that side. So, but that might give me some more adjustment here, and I can pull this out some more. And I'm not sure I can or will, because you're gonna have a rubber piece in between here that maybe bring this out a little bit more. But it's pretty even right there. This side, it's not quite as even. So, but it's not off by a whole lot either. It's just going to be a matter of getting things fit properly, I guess. But for the most part, I mean, it fits pretty nice. I think I'm going to have to use this instead of the aftermarket one just because of that. Just because, that thing looks pretty decent. It has a lot of adjustability in it, but this one just fits way better, even with the aftermarket quarter panels I put on and, everything. So I'm pretty happy about that, which means next up, I need to get this thing down to bare metal. So I'm going to have to start taking this apart, get this wing off it. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to fix this wing. I can sand it down, but all these cracks and stuff, because they didn't use flexible paint, I don't know if I can get those out. Like, it's a lot of sanding, and I feel like with this being urethane, or if I sand it, it's going to end up sanding down too much, so I might need to look at another way. Maybe I can get some of the aircraft paint remover and remove it that way. I'm just afraid I'm going to mess this wing up. So, and I mean, it doesn't really have a bad bow in it or anything, so it's a pretty good wing in general. But I might opt to get a new wing because I want it to be that black that it's supposed to be instead of color matched anyways. But we will see. But yeah. I think I'm going to take this thing back off. I'm probably going to mark it and then go from there. Start disassembly. Hey everybody. So back with the trunk shenanigans. So since I've decided that we're going to go with the OEM, maybe OEM deck lid that was on the car originally instead of the aftermarket one that's a 1/4 inch short on one end than the other, and also a little bit bent up, I'm going to strip it down. So that's what I'm about to do. I got it over here on the ground outside of the garage, and I've got my angle grinder and a couple of the discs I use on the ceiling, the roof of the car, and I'm about to get to it. So we're going to get it stripped down and see what other things we may or may not find, because this car being full of Bondo like it was, I might find some more. So let's get to it. All right, so we got the top coat. I mean, obviously I didn't get everything off, but I mean, all in all, it's actually in pretty good shape. I mean, I'm pretty impressed with this. I mean, we got some holes from 2 different sets of wings apparently that were on here at one point. There's a spot where it's got a dent right here at this curvature. It's dented in right here as well. You know, you got some of the rusty stuff showing through, I guess. It's not horrible, but obviously that's some issues there. You got a lot more of that down here in this corner. A couple holes and so on, but all in all, it's not too horribly bad. The biggest spot is right here. There's a big ding right here. But it had a ton of Bondo in here. For just filling this little area in, there was a huge amount of Bondo that shouldn't have been needed. But I mean, it feels pretty smooth other than that. So it's in actually pretty good shape. So I'm pretty impressed with that. I do need to clean the underside still, pull the old rubber off. Probably going to weld these holes back up. I'm going to put the wing back on it, but nothing is aligned right. Like, so these 2 holes aren't matched up to these holes. It's not level left or right from what I can see. And I ordered the MPD version of the wing. That's supposed to be made to OEM manufacturer specs based off a NOS wing, and it's 36 inches from side to side is what they said, and these holes are like 35.5 from side to side. So obviously there's a little bit of a gotcha there, so I'll be kind of redoing those, but I'll probably wait till I get the wing to really figure out what I'm going to do. But I needed to get this thing cleaned up, that way I can really see what I was working with, and all in all, I'm pretty impressed. I was expecting a lot more Bondo and a lot more rust for what I'm seeing. So yet again, the rust through was, a little bit right there in the corner, and definitely some, issues here on the edge, but you can treat that, treat it on both sides and make sure it doesn't come through. Obviously I need to see what we got going on, but yeah, pretty decent. So all right, peace. All right, I've been working off camera today, guys, and I went ahead and put my rear valence on and just started doing some more test fitting with it, and it fits really good, especially on the passenger side. Not much of a gap on this side, but I'm probably gonna have to fill in just a little bit. I mean, it's actually pretty good. I might, weld on a welding rod there just to, close that gap a little bit. So, it's not too bad. But the big problem here is this needs to be drilled out underneath here. So there's a hole, and there's a bracket that you have these screws in that hold it tight to the quarter panel. Well, this is too low on this side, so I need to put a new hole on this side. I know that side matches up good, but this side doesn't. So I also put another screw here just to keep it nice and tight up against this edge where it curves. So I've got that set up. I'll probably do the same thing on the other side, but I'm just trying to see how tight we can get this. Like I said, I might need to bend this down a little bit. On the other side, it actually comes over this lip. So just doing some fitment. I mean, I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, it's a little off, but at the same time, it's pretty good. So, all right. Well, back to work. All right, guys. I went ahead and drilled my hole. There it is. That should get done what I need done. So, and then I did some measuring, looking at these, and what I found out is this bracket is about 2 inches from this lip, where on this side it's 2 1/4 inches from that lip. So that 1/4 inch probably would have made that hole work. So that's what it is. This Dynacorn valence is offset from side to side, and that's what's causing my issue right here. So that totally makes sense now that I've done that measuring. So that's why we have to, adjust things like this. But everything should fit pretty good. I mean, I know some people weld these in. I'm not going to weld it in. I like it to be flush, but I also don't want to make it permanent in case I ever have to do any alterations or take it off for doing this, that, and whatever else. So, but yeah, just wanted to show you guys. And, you know, that's kind of one of those things. It's like you should always check these mounting brackets. Technically, I probably could have just drilled this out. It's 2 spot welds and spot welded it back, which is probably what I should have done now that I think of it. But especially with my spot welder that I have. But yeah, probably should have done that now that I've made this mistake. But now I've got a big hole, so, you know, too late. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning into this week's episode. We got a lot done. Well, I mean, not really. We got a deck lid figured out. We ended up going back to the OEM deck lid that has some dents and little rust spots. But, you know, it all in all is better than trying to add metal to a already bent aftermarket one. It was a 1/4 inch off on the one corner, which is absurd. I don't know how you do something like that. Like, of all the things, that back edge should be what's consistent. All in all, it was a good deck lid. I mean, I just didn't want to use my OEM 1/4 extensions and try to match them up to something I had to cut shorter or add a bunch of metal to. So it just didn't make sense to me. And once we got all the Bondo and everything off of that OEM deck lid, it's actually in pretty good shape. I'm kind of shocked. I thought it'd be a lot worse. So we're going to do some work on that, get it all fit. Obviously, I drilled some holes where the rear valence attaches, and then found out that the actual mounting brackets are spot welded on differently from side to side. Imagine that. I never would have guessed that an aftermarket part was not put together quite properly. So that's the way it goes. So either way, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what's going on, folks. Let me know if there's any information you're trying to look for that I can provide. I'd be happy to help any way I can. And tell your friends about the channel. We'll see you next week. Peace.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card never change.